All right. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Back in the office already. My work is never done. And, sometimes I need to step back and look for success. I mentioned that before. Some things you're not sure whether or not we played a role in some of the things that are talked about. Whether we play a role or not, I'm always happy to hear about progress or steps in the right direction. But now you're starting to hear more articles surface, articles that talk about the things we talk about. Now people are starting to sound more like us. Only after all of these mutilations. You don't have to go through all of this. That's just not smart. We got all the info we need to be proactive. But this surfaced today, one of many articles. There are a lot of stories that are available right now. This was written by The Independent. Dangerous dog breeds that kill should be even more restricted. This surfaced in Ireland. Y'all notice this trend when there are severe, horrific attacks on children? Y'all see this trend that's going around the world right now where children are being horrifically mutilated. Killed or not, they're being mutilated. And then the government of those countries are then saying, hey, we need to do something about this. If not the government, then the locals. They start to make a lot of noise. This is what happened in Gazabad. This is what happened in South Africa. And here it's happening in Ireland. Whether or not we're having any influence in this is irrelevant. I am happy to see steps in the right direction. The right things being discussed. Even though it's not as much as I would like to see, it's a step in the right direction. This is how people need to talk. This is the type of discussion that needs to be had. You need to sit down and examine how much sense it makes to treat these mutants as if they're harmless. There's nothing even remotely intelligent about that. People, there's nothing intelligent or beneficial. There's no benefit whatsoever in pretending that these bully breeds are harmless. Now, to an extent, this applies to all dogs. But right now, the world is focusing on bully breeds. They are under the microscope right now, and I want to offer as much pressure as possible to any group of mutts that are under the microscope, that are being viewed in a negative way. I'm not going to miss the opportunity to pounce on that as well. So, this article, they showed a photo of a Rottweiler, right? I heard they have these restricted dogs in Ireland, but look, if people over there, they still have bully breeds, then whatever restrictions you have are worthless. You know, it's really that simple. So this article goes on, says the attack on a child by a dog is the most recent in a series of horrific incidents in past few years. Look at how they worded that. Didn't even mention the dog. Just call it horrific incidents. These are dog attacks, man. Totally preventable. Totally preventable. Okay, so they're going in on the pit bulls, as they should. As everybody should. Now, there's another story. The story that they're talking about over there in Ireland, as you all know, is of the 9-year-old who was attacked. This story is sort of going viral right now. Okay? On social media right now, it's sort of going viral. This story, I first talked about it, I think 2 streams ago, if I'm not mistaken. This is a recent story. I don't even think it's a week old yet. But it was the severity of the child's injuries that has people shocked. That's really what's causing this to go viral. The boy's entire lower lip is missing. I don't want to dwell on that. I don't want the comment section to this video to be disabled. Let me check this out. I didn't look at this. Didn't even notice that this was an actual video. Does it play? Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go.
He has no cheeks left.
Oh, sorry about that.
Here. His lip, he doesn't have any lip left. He's not able, he can't talk at all. He just can't talk at all. His face, like this part of his face is completely destroyed. This part of this face, like all of this, it's gone. Like he doesn't have this anymore. So like he only have half of his face.
Okay. Here's another article that surfaced about that story. Look at the headline. Need for controls. No more children should suffer devil dog attacks. They are traumatizing and rules should be enforced, says the senator. Oh, now you want to speak our language. Now, after I have talked myself into exhaustion. Do y'all know how frustrating it is to warn people of a deadly attack that's about to take place against your child? Do you know how disturbing it is to go years warning people, right? Pinpointing the threat, exactly what's going to attack, who this mutant is going to attack. It's usually a child. And to sit back and watch these attacks unfold as I predict them is disturbing. It's disturbing. I mean, disturbing for me. Here I'm sitting back saying, hey, your child is in danger. And that dog is the threat. Get it out of the house. Get it out of the community. And then sit back and see stories like this pop up. There's no excuse for that. And maybe the world is starting to realize that. Maybe this is what we always needed. We've always needed people who talk about it, who say, look at this, this unacceptable. This guy, everything that we talk about is proven to be right over and over with each story like this. So you can't say that you don't know how to stop the threat, that it's not preventable. They have no excuse. So over time, more and more lawmakers are going to realize that there's no way to hide. The people have wakened up, and we understand that it's not intelligent and it's definitely not safe to pretend that these killing breeds, bully breeds, are killing fighting breeds. It's unacceptable to pretend that they're harmless 2-year-old family members. Stop it. Hopefully, finally, we're getting through to these people. See, it makes a big difference when important people see that a lot of people are having discussions about this. Y'all notice, and I don't mean to toot our own horn. Y'all notice that as experts, our talking points are the only talking points that consistently get proven to be correct, to be accurate, based on a basic level of showing evidence to prove whatever your theory may be. You can tell who the true experts are by whose predictions, whose theories, whose ideas are being proven correct in reality. It is never what the behaviorists say. This is once again an unprovoked attack. Now, I haven't even read this yet. The headline is what I wanted to touch on. But you got the senator down there getting involved. Here, let me share a story, share a link to this story. How we doing this morning? It is 9:15 my time. Shout out to everybody in the building. I see everybody in here. Dogs are trash. Lala, Ashar, Louise. Shout out to the Crusaders. Oh, now you want to talk like us. Huh? No more children should suffer devil dog attacks. Yeah. Lord, how many had to happen for y'all to talk like this? Now, let's see if it gets swept under the rug. Like most of these articles that speak out against these mutants. They've been coming out for a while. And nothing has happened. Nothing's changed because the people in general are not really putting pressure on these lawmakers. And hopefully that's what we're doing, what we're in the process of doing. You know, not just on this channel. I'm talking about all of our platforms. That channel, Pitbull Victim Awareness, that's a strong channel. That's a very powerful channel and attractive. And it's smart to have the pit bull as the avatar of that channel. Okay, what is this? Y'all heard about this. I talked about this. The meter reader being killed by the harmless, or what's always projected as harmless, 2-year-old substitute, the pit bull. Y'all gonna stop that. That's just too ridiculous.
A routine meter check has ended in the death of a man at Logan. The Energex worker was doing his job when he was mauled by large dogs in a Greenbank front yard.
Not far from the front gate of a semi-rural property, a horrific end for a man working the weekend. killed by...
Okay. Don't you think it's a problem? Don't you think it's a problem when there are stories coming out that are like this, where they're talking about some mutt, some pit bull that has been found somewhere? This article surfaced yesterday. Don't you think it's a problem when media outlets are putting out stories like this, and at the same time other media outlets are putting out stories like what we just looked at? Some 9-year-old getting his face ripped off and torn to shreds. Oh, those same creatures responsible for those attacks that they're exclusively responsible for. At the same time, you're running stories like this. You still trying to pretend like these things is harmless angels.
Of injuries. The dog, named Lucky by rescuers, was found injured near the Lawndale station along SEPTA's Fox Step, closer to recovering from extensive injuries. The dog...
They know what they're doing when they share photos like this, trying to project this mutant as harmless, some harmless angel. Get out of here. Right now, we got stories out here of people, kids, the elderly, getting their throats ripped out. Don't disrespect us by running stories like this at the same time.
Named Lucky by rescuers, was found injured near the Lawndale station along SEPTA's Fox Chase line.
I mean,
the group Philly...
What do y'all expect from the public? For us to be traumatized at the stories that we read before we scrolled down and saw this goofy story, and then hear this story and feel sorry for this mutt? This is a bully breed. Y'all better get on code. Y'all better get on the same page. You goofy media outlets, y'all need to stop running these types of stories. Now ain't the time to be running stories like this, in case you haven't noticed. What is wrong with you? Nobody want to hear about no mutt, no pit bull found somewhere with a broken leg.
Rescue Angels is helping the dog get treatment.
Rescue Angels? Now ain't the time to be referring to these killers as angels. You see what I'm talking about? Stop pretending that these things are harmless. Now ain't the time. The cringe, disrespect, everything is overboard.
The group Philly Rescue Angels is helping the dog get treatment for a spinal cord injury that's preventing him from walking. They tell us he underwent surgery yesterday.
You know what that means? The fact that it can't walk, you know what that means? That means people are safer. That's either true or it's not. If all pit bulls right now were afflicted with this same thing, spinal cord injury, people, the elderly, and especially kids under 13 would be safer. Our communities would be that much safer. Y'all know what else bothers me that I don't really like to be on my conscience? Some kids listen to my videos. There is a percentage of my listeners who are under 13. And so some of these kids, when they step out their front door to go to the bus stop, to go play, to get the mail, take out the trash, to do their paper route, especially, some of them, they go out there with my voice in their head. They step out the front door and they hear or remember the things we've talked about, that they've read online and heard channel hosts say, and they're nervous. They step outside of there and they're nervous. Some of them will get mutilated. This is going to happen if it hasn't happened already. And right before they're mutilated, the things that we write, the things that we say is going to run through their head. That's going to be the last thing that they recall. That everything that the anti-dog community was talking about is true and it's about to happen to me. I'm about to be the next victim. And some of these victims will be killed. And the last thing that they remember was a group of people talking about how we need to structure society so this can't happen. Had everybody been like these anti-dog people, I wouldn't be in the process of getting killed, getting bled out right now. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm not comfortable with that. So how about we stop pretending that these mutants are harmless?
Solvers, especially if you're a hungry toddler in Italy. Can't quite reach the bread on the other end of the table. So what do? Well, if you can't get the bread, you know.
Hey, what in the world is this? I have no idea why this was. I must have saved the wrong story. Okay, this is another media outlet. Surfaced today. Okay? You see what it says? Disfiguring pit bull attack on child spurs calls for stronger Irish dog law. And stop it with that. Stronger laws. No. They're not talking the right language. Calls for bans. You notice how in Gazabad, South Africa, they're being specific. They say, no, we need bans. We want bans. Nobody should be allowed to have these things. And if you have one, surrender it. But with countries that are more pro-dog, they put out stories like this. Oh, let's just get stronger laws. Let's just add a few more restrictions. They can pull that in Ireland. You can't pull it in certain countries. But you see that Ireland possibly is under pressure to respond in some way because of the previous jurisdictions that have banned these things. That's the trend right now. The trend right now is to ban them. Hold them up to scrutiny. Hold the breed up to scrutiny. Examine the breed. That's what's going on. That's what's been going on for the past couple weeks or so. And really, ever since that woman was attacked and her kids were killed. Remember a little while ago, that family, those bully breeds, I think it was Cane Corsos, killed both kids and badly injured the mother. Ever since then, it has been non-stop pit bulls in the media and under a microscope. So when stories like this surface in a pro-dog country, they have to respond in some way as well at this point. So, yeah, let's hope the progress continues, because look, I already know that this is worthless. I don't want to hear no talk about strengthening dog laws or add more restrictions. Unless you're talking about bans, you have to use the word bans, banning, or else you're just playing games. Now, what in the world? Oh my goodness. Okay. I didn't mean to show that. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. Man who allegedly killed Massachusetts couple over barking dog found in Florida. So this man was driven crazy by a barking dog. These dog lovers allowed their dog to drive a person insane. That's what this is. That's what this is. No more pretending that dogs are not annoying, that they don't produce noise violations. Stop it. Stop it. Your culture is to let these things bark, 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 bark. And usually there are a lot of complaints before stuff like this happens. That's why they know that this was over a barking dog. Okay? This is not a case of dog abuse. No. This is not a case of dog abuse. This is a case of human abuse. Because he was responding to abuse. This culture of letting your little stupid mutt bark incessantly is abuse. No, you don't get to frame the narrative, dog lovers. No. Christopher Keeley, 27 years old. Man, oh man. An argument over a barking dog. So you can tell that the dog owner was not cooperative. Generally, when people complain about a barking dog, the owner knows that the dog is annoying. The owner knows that there are people who don't want to hear their dog barking, who are annoyed and bothered. They know it and they don't care. You know, they make anti-dog barking devices nowadays where when a dog barks, it'll release this high-pitched sound that dogs don't like. So as soon as they start to bark, they are annoyed by the sound and they stop barking. Why isn't something like that required for dog lovers? Why is there no regulation? Why here in the States, for example, why are pit bull owners required to have muzzles on their pit bulls at least whenever they bring them outside of their home? Why don't we have laws like that in every state? Not saying that that's what I'm fighting for. I'm pointing out the complete absence of regulation. Safety regulations. There's no safety protocol whatsoever. Look at how serious the workplace takes safety hazards. Why don't we see that in our laws? Everything is flirting with danger. Everything. So, I feel sorry for this man. He was driven crazy and he killed a couple. He didn't want to kill these people. I don't believe he wanted to kill these people. he was driven insane. And this happens a lot. And these people just don't want to take dogs seriously. This culture of not taking anything related to dogs seriously has to stop. Now, here recently, there have been some stories. Matter of fact, I'll come back to that. Whole family terror after dog attacked by pit bull in front of mother carrying 9-month-old baby. Okay, so they're out walking their dog. This is just a recent story that I had not heard about. I wanted to check out. Okay. That's another thing. Pit bulls, they love to attack anything small. So if you have a dog, you putting yourself at risk. You know, pit bull come out of nowhere and attack you. These things are dangerous. They're dangerous. I don't want people stepping out their front door. I don't want no little toddler or no small child stepping out their front door with my words in their head, eyes big as quarters, scared, nervous, walking down the street, looking around. You know, they terrified. They've seen some of the stuff we show and talk about on here. And then a mutt actually comes out and rips their throat out. All because you goofy nutters want to pretend and just be insane. Now listen, here recently, there have been some attacks on kids, and these have not been dogs. Here, a raccoon attacked a 7-year-old. Well, guess what? If we got to exterminate raccoons as well, then so be it. I ain't got no problem with that. Now, typically, raccoons, like I've never even heard of anybody being attacked by a raccoon. I remember unloading a truck, and there was a flipping raccoon in one of the knockdowns. And that thing was scared to death. Raccoons usually scared, but if they see a small child, maybe they would try to attack. It's only a 7-year-old. Maybe it was rabid. I don't know. And maybe it's extremely rare. I never heard of it. But I don't care. We get rid of bully breeds. If raccoons prove to be a problem as well, then we'll have to deal with the raccoons. I don't care. I'm down for exterminating anything that won't leave me alone. That's a universal rule. Yeah, we can share this planet, but you better stay on your part of the planet. Don't come hunting me. If your life involves hunting me, then I'm forced to hunt you and deal with you first. A toddler was attacked by a coyote. Now, wait a minute.
Good evening. That's right. It did appear the coyote came out of nowhere. And we spoke with the father of the 2-year-old girl, and he says he's so glad he was able to rescue her, but he's also really afraid. And neighbors are afraid, too, because they say this is not the first coyote attack here. In broad daylight in Woodland Hills, a shocking coyote attack caught on camera.
Okay, so I'm not going to show that. Not going to show that. Now, this is a coyote. Now, there were a lot of people who were saying that this was weird, that it was strange for a coyote to just walk up and attack people. And a lot of people suspected that the coyote was rabid. That it was rabid. But listen here. I don't defend no coyote or no raccoon or no other creature walk up and attack me. Just like, listen, if coyotes wanted to invade our territory, that's unacceptable too. And I would support the idea of keeping coyotes out of our territory. I've never seen a coyote in real life. I don't know where they are, but man, I'm not cool with a community full of coyotes. So I don't have no problem with that. Now, I would not advocate the idea of exterminating coyotes all over the planet like I am with bully breeds, and really dogs in general, but definitely bully breeds. But if any creature can't seem to stick to their part of the world and instead want to look at us as prey, it's kill or be killed. I'm down to wipe out any living creature that views my species as prey. That's just the way it is. And if we're intelligent enough to exterminate them, then we need to do that. That's what I want my tax dollars to go towards. What are you talking about? Have y'all not figured out how to exist in this universe yet? Figured out the laws of the universe? That's just a law of the universe. The strong survive. You got two elite predators or whatever in some area, and you're competing for resources and food. Well, the smarter, more powerful species wins. That's just the way it is. So I don't care what needs to be done. We need to get it done. But the idea of inviting pit bulls into our communities. See, they want to look at this coyote. Oh, evil coyote. They should be banned. No, the biggest problem right now, these bully breeds. It's time to act like it. No more of this pretending and make believe, living in this fantasy land where you know, it's annoying to me how people think it's honorable to pretend that bully breeds are harmless. They view it as somehow righteous or holy, like it's a righteous, upright thing to do. Oh, you should be willing to surround yourself with pit bulls, and we'll look down on you if you're nervous or if you don't want to be around them. No, your job is to pretend that it's harmless. Put your face Put your face in the dog's face, like Jacqueline Durand. Okay, rub it, kiss it. You're not allowed to just pet it a couple times. Okay, if you don't show complete intimacy with a dog, you're looked down upon. Right? You have to pretend that it's harmless. Or as you remember that anchor lady who got bit on camera, bit in her face? A big reason why she was acting so goofy, putting her face all up in that pit bull's face, is because of the pressure that she was aware of by society, the dog-loving society. The pressure is put on them to pretend that these things are harmless. And that's why a lot of times these people go overboard with that behavior and end up getting bit.
The 2 dog attacks in North Harris County have neighborhoods on edge.
Yeah, one of them includes a pit bull attack that has left a man in critical condition. Then the latest, a 12-year-old boy headed home after school. Brittany Jeffers is live in Spring.
There you go. There was another one. Headed home after school. Like I said, people, y'all better stop letting your kids walk home, Y'all better be at that bus stop. Better be at the bus stop waiting for them. There's no excuse. Whether you in the side of a car or walking. I don't care what nobody say. If I had a child, I'm not letting them walk from no bus stop nowhere around here home by themselves. What are y'all doing, man? And I see kids walking home all the time. Some of them very small. And it'll be maybe 2 of them. Sometimes just 1. Y'all that lazy? Can't get up out the bed? And I bet you anything, their parents, they're not at work. They're at home watching TV or something. This ain't that type of world.
To tell us what happened. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning. Well, this most recent attack, as you mentioned, involves a 12-year-old, and family members tell us that he suffered injuries to his face, his arm, his leg. They say he had to try to jump on top of a parked vehicle to try to get away from that animal.
And then when I saw him, the kid, he had his leg bit up, his arm bit up, and part of his lip was bit off.
Witnesses say the attack was terrifying. Just moments after getting
See what I'm saying? Y'all know, see, this channel and other platforms, anti-dog spaces on the internet, they bring to your attention something that was probably not in your mind. This stuff is new to a lot of people. So when they come across stories like this, some of the images that we share here, people's face mutilated, kids, their face mutilated, in a way, that's traumatizing just to see this stuff. To hear about these stories, to hear about the statistics, to hear about the triggers, which really are not triggers, hear about all these stories, how these mutts will attack for no reason, unprovoked. And you see all these bloody, gory images. Just imagine, for an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old who's never seen that type of stuff, that could be traumatizing just to see it, just to come across our platforms, which what they need to see, because this is reality. What's not reality is that these things are harmless. So just to see this stuff, for a lot of people, we take it for granted. But for some people, it's kind of traumatizing. It burns in their memory and it stays on their mind for a few days and then sort of wears off. Well, there might be several kids scared to get off a bus. They've been listening to our videos, reading the messages that we leave online. They scared to get off the bus. You know, and don't be surprised if more young children start walking in groups, start to openly talk about, yeah, let's walk home together. We'll walk home this way. Lazy parent at home don't want to pick them up or walk home with them from the bus stop. Y'all creating a crazy, sick little world here with this nuttery. It's primarily responsibility or the fault of these bully breed owners of these large, vicious, worthless breeds. Y'all the biggest threat to society, man. Man, something, yeah. Now, I think this is an old story, but this was something that irked me.
Off of a school bus on Treehouse Lane, a 12-year-old was attacked by a husky. The little boy scrambling on top of a car for safety after suffering bites to his face, arm, and leg. His aunt says he's now in the hospital.
He shouldn't have to be scared to get off the bus and jump on top of a car. He should be able to walk home with no hesitation, no problems or anything.
This attack comes on the heels of another dog attack that happened in Northwest Harris County yesterday morning.
I've had a lot of dogs.
So this is the thing. So look at the flow of this report, of this story. They go from talking about a child being attacked to actually showing a man being attacked. So what sense does it make to project these creatures as harmless little angels? In the real world, that's not what they are. Don't be making no cartoon. Stop with all this nonsense. The disgusting dodo and all that filth. That's unacceptable, man. This nonsense, projecting these things as sweet, harmless little angels.
Northwest Harris County yesterday morning.
I've had a lot of dog bites and maulings, but this was up there with some of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta, excuse me, I saved a bunch of stories. I don't know why. In the world is this? Escaped dog attacks 6-year-old boy on his birthday. Yeah, I think I reported about this. I think I talked about this. There was some complaints about a landlord. Yeah, I remember her. I remember that nutter. Yeah, I remember that nutter. I got to be careful. You have to be careful. Have I talked about this already? I wanted to talk about this. Y'all better stop. Look, I know how parents are. You sitting at home. You want some sugar. You want something. What you do? You send your child out to go get it. Look at my purse, get some money. Go get me a bottle of something. Go get me this. Go get me that. Get up, take the trash out. You sitting up like a lump on a log, lazy. Brain is in wonderland. You're not thinking at all. Sending these kids outside, walking around town. No supervision. In a world where deadly creatures dart out of nowhere. Itching. Deadly creatures. Listen, it's not that type of world. Y'all understand? Let me tell you the type of world we live in. We live in a world, we live in a society, an area, a territory where when a child walks through the neighborhood, there are deadly predators that when they see that child, they're itching, dying to maul them. That's what dogs do. That's flat out what they do. They see a child or children walking, they're breaking their necks. They're digging holes. I've shared stories of dogs that have attacked children after they've dug a hole under the fence. Why do you think the dog's digging holes? They dig holes when they see something on the other side of the fence that they want to maul. It's irrefutable. We live in a world where there are deadly predators everywhere that as soon as they see a child, they are itching to maul them. That's the type of world we live in. So it definitely does not make sense for you all to project these things as man's best friend, the best friend of kids, as harmless angels sent from heaven. That part of the culture is going to fall first. That's going to slow down. These nutters, there needs to be some type of policy put out here. You got these social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram. You know, if you do certain things on these platforms, they'll shut your channel down. Well, this should be one of them. You stupid enough, you upload a photo of a video with a flipping child alone with a dog. That should be enough to get your channel taken down. You know, eventually, we're going to put enough pressure on these platforms, these social media platforms, where they do exactly that. No, you're not going to be promoting this sick lifestyle like that. It's scary. People are sheep the way that they are. We'll fall for anything that we're raised on. You know, I don't fully fault us. When we're raised, wired a certain way, it's hard to snap out of it. Well, y'all better find some help. This is unacceptable. Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this brief live stream. And I hope to see you back on the next as we continue with this crusade.